chasing the wrong thing. The piano wasn't a lie. He was just
I watched this animated movie
across the finish line. If you've ever gotten something you work for and felt weirdly nothing, Pixar actually made a movie about exactly why that happens and how to fix it.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry.
Welcome to One International Love Reactions. I'm gonna react to This Is What Wasting Your Life Looks Like. You know what I'm saying? Let me figure out what's the name of the so for some reason I can't really see the name, so let's go with that. This is what wasting your life looks like. We'll figure out the name. I'll just put the name in the title of where you can find the video. You get what I'm saying? Let's go.
Joe Gardner gets the gig. Dorothea Williams Band, the Half Note Club, the room that's been playing in his head since he was a kid. He gets the call, auditions within the hour, and the answer is yes. He plays the gig of his life.
I thought I'd feel different.
That's him after. Joe wasn't chasing the wrong thing. The piano wasn't a lie. He was just
I watched this animated movie, if that's what it's called, and it was really amazing. You get what I'm saying? I don't remember the name of it. I think it's Souls. Yeah, something like that. I mean, but it's really good. It's really energetic, magnetic, informative. A lot of stuff, like you can learn a lot of stuff in it, you know. It's all about like teaching you how to actually appreciate your life that you're living. Stop dwelling on what you don't have and look at what you actually have and appreciate it, and life will be more meaningful to you. Yeah.
Like the video. Like the video. Like the video.
So let's see.
just chasing the wrong feeling, the one that was supposed to finally show up once he crossed the finish line. If you've ever gotten something you work for and felt weirdly nothing, Pixar actually made a movie about exactly why that happens and how to fix it. But the answer isn't where most people were looking for it. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Let's recall this. Joe is a middle school band teacher, part-time. He's been part-time for a while. The kids love him, actually. There's a moment early on where he gets them playing together and you can see it click. That thing that happens when a room of 12-year-olds makes music instead of noise. He's good at this. The film is careful to show you that before it shows you anything else, because what's coming isn't a story about a man who couldn't connect. It's a story about a man who could, who had everything he needed to be present and kept choosing not to be. But he's not here, not really. The principal calls him out of class, offers him a full-time position, salary, benefits, the version of the job his mom has been quietly hoping for years. Joe thanks him. There's nothing performative about it. He just can't receive it. It doesn't fit into the life he's been building in his head, the one where the gig is the only thing that counts, and everything else is the waiting room. So it slides off him. He goes to see his mom right after, and she's thrilled, and you can hear in her voice everything she's been.
And that's the thing too. You know what I mean? In life, you just gotta just believe in what you want. You know, believe in what you need and go after it with all your might. You know what I mean? But you still gotta appreciate.
Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Subscribe now.
Appreciate what you got. Meanwhile, you're going for it with all your might. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because a lot of times, people are not going to see your vision. You get what I'm saying? They're not going to see it. A lot of times, you're going to be the only one that sees your vision. You get what I'm saying? So that's why you just gotta go after it and don't. Sometimes you just don't ask nothing from nobody, like no like opinion from no one, because it might demotivate you. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You're off the trajectory that you were on going towards your dream. You fell off that because of one negative opinion.
Wanting to say for years, all the worry she's been carrying, all of it releasing the moment she hears the news.
After all these years, my prayers have been answered.
Joe listens. He says the right things. And right there in her shop, surrounded by the fabric and the work she's built her own life out of, his phone rings again. It's Curly, a former student now drumming in Dorothea Williams' band. They need a pianist tonight. Joe auditions within the hour. He gets it. Walking down the street, still buzzing, he doesn't even see it coming. He falls into an open manhole, and his body goes into a coma. Joe lands in the Great Before, where unborn souls develop personalities and get assigned to a life on Earth. He's assigned to mentor a soul named 22, who has been there for hundreds of years, and every mentor has failed her. Joe is absolutely certain he can fix this. He knows what a spark is. It's the thing you were made for. You find it, you chase it until you get it, and then everything makes sense. He's about to be wrong about all of it. That certainty, that's the thing we need to watch.
Like the video. Like the video. Like the video.
Version of this story that's simple. Joe Gardner finally gets his shot, almost dies, learns to appreciate the little things, comes back, plays the gig of his life, roll credits, go home. The fish story, the helicopter seed. Cue the John Baptiste piano. Except the movie doesn't let him feel anything when it's over. And if the lesson were just appreciate what you have, it wouldn't need to show us why the gig felt hollow. Here's what the film is actually doing. In The Great Before, one of the Jerrys, the counselors who run the youth seminar, tells Joe explicitly, a spark isn't a soul's purpose. It's not the thing you're destined to do. It's something simpler and stranger than that. It's just a sign that a soul is ready to live. Joe hears this and immediately keeps moving. He's got a gig to get back to.
We don't assign purposes. Where did you get that idea?
The film is flagging the misunderstanding that has organized his entire adult life. He built his whole conception of what a life is supposed to feel like around an idea the movie is telling us in the first act is wrong. And the film doesn't just tell him once. It shows him, in scene after scene, through person after person, the same thing. He just can't hear it.
You know, lost souls are not that different from those in the zone.
Joe has been in the zone for decades. He calls it passion.
But when that joy becomes an obsession, one becomes disconnected from life.
What Moonwind is describing is something that locks you so far into the pursuit that the rest of the world goes quiet around you. Not because the rest of the world isn't speaking, but because you stopped being able to hear it. Then 22 ends up in Joe's body, alive, on Earth, walking around New York in a borrowed life. And here's the scene that quietly breaks everything open. 22 ends up in Joe's barbershop. Dez.
Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Subscribe now.
Joe's barber, someone Joe has been seeing for years, starts talking. 22, who has never been a person before, who has no idea what the rules are, just listens, asks questions, finds out that Dez wanted to be a veterinarian, that his daughter got sick, and he chose barber school because it was cheaper, and that he is fine with it, more than fine. He found his life in the detour. 22 didn't know all of this. She asked because she didn't know not to. Joe knew Dez. Joe had been going to that barbershop for years, and while Dez talked about all of it, the dream, the daughter, the reroute, how it turned out, Joe was in a cat's body, right there in the shop, in a body that couldn't speak, couldn't ask, couldn't be in that conversation at all, 3 feet away and still nowhere near it.
You never asked, but I'm glad you did this time.
That's you never asked. Not said with anger, just a fact, almost cheerful about it. You never asked, but I'm glad you did this time. Dez isn't sad about being a barber. That's the part that stings. He made peace with the reroute. He found what was real in the version of the life he actually got. Joe has been 3 feet away from that proof for years and couldn't see it because the gig was always closer in his mind than the room he was standing in. But the film doesn't stop there, because so far what we've seen is Joe missing things. Passive, distracted, absent. The kind of wound you can tell yourself is just focus, just dedication. He's not trying to hurt anyone. Earlier that same day, there's Connie. Connie is one of Joe's students. She plays trombone. She shows up at Joe's apartment ready to quit band. Done. Decided. And tells 22 she still wants to play one more thing before she goes. She's not asking. She demands 22 listen and then tell
Like the video. Like the video. Like the video.
her to quit after. 22 reluctantly agrees. Connie plays and doesn't quit. Joe watched the whole thing from inside the cat. He was in the room. He saw a student almost walk away from music and get pulled back by someone willing to just stay in it. His only thought was that they needed to wrap this up. He had a gig that night. He was watching a breakthrough happen inside his own apartment and barely clocked it. The accumulation is what gets you. The principal's offer he couldn't receive. His mom's relief he heard but didn't feel. Dez's life he was physically present for and still completely missed. Connie's almost quit that happened inside his own home while he was watching and waiting for it to be over. Each one was offering him the real thing. He kept filing them under not yet. And then comes the moment the film stops being gentle with him. Back in the Great Before, Joe finds out that 22 has an Earth Pass, her ticket to a life, the thing the whole youth seminar has been building toward for hundreds of years. And he wants it. He tells her those experiences weren't hers, that they were his passions, his life, that she was just borrowing them, that she still doesn't have a spark, that what she collected, the seed, the pizza, the way a subway platform sounds, that's just regular old living. He says this to a soul who has waited hundreds of years to feel ready to live. Someone who had been carrying evidence that the world was worth being in, and someone who needed one person to confirm it. 22 doesn't argue.
Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Subscribe now.
She just breaks, throws the pass at him and disappears into the zone. And Joe, who has just been told by a Jerry that sparks aren't purposes, that the whole framework he's built his life around is wrong, takes the pass anyway, gets back to his body, plays the gig. 22 stops being a soul waiting to live. She becomes a lost soul. Joe didn't just pass his wound on. He sharpened it first, aimed it, and handed it to someone who had no defenses against it. And here's what makes it almost unbearable. Joe won. He got back to his body. He played the gig. He stood on that stage and did the thing he'd been promising himself for 46 years. The room completely his. And it felt like nothing. He thought it was dedication. But a dependency that runs that deep eventually starts looking like a relationship you've been in so long you've stopped asking whether it's giving anything back. And when it needs something badly enough, it takes from whoever's closest. Someone who's built their whole life around one thing eventually can't tell you who they are without it. You know that calculation, the one you run every time something good happens. Okay, but this isn't the real thing yet. The real thing is still ahead. This was a stepping stone. The stepping stone before the stepping stone before the thing that will finally count. The midnight scroll through LinkedIn, except you're not looking for jobs, you're checking if other people's real lives have started yet and yours hasn't. The way you answer, "What do you do?" at a party, always with a but attached. I'm doing X, but what I really want to do is, the but has been following you for so long you've stopped noticing it. The hobbies that quietly died because they weren't the thing. The friendships that needed more of you than you had left over after the dream took its cut, so you let them go quiet and told yourself you'd explain later, when there was something to show for it. There's a version of yourself you've been promising. The one who shows up present once the thing finally lands. The one who can sit in a room without doing the math on whether this counted. You've been promising that version to everyone around you for years. Maybe for so long that they've stopped expecting it. Maybe for so long that you've stopped noticing they stopped.
Like the video. Like the video. Like the video.
And the cruel part? The dangerous part is that at some point, the thing stopped being something you loved and became something you needed. And you can't tell the difference anymore because you've been at it so long that the feeling of wanting it and the feeling of being you have grown into the same root system. And if the thing doesn't happen, you're not just disappointed, you don't know who's disappointed because you're not sure who's left. Someone close to you asks how you're doing. Really asks, and instead of landing in it, you give them the update, the thing you're working toward, the progress, the next step. And they nod because they've learned that's what you need to give them. And you walk away having had a conversation about your life without actually being in it for a single second. You've practiced this so long, it doesn't even register as a deflection anymore. It just feels like talking. Joe didn't have a passion problem. His love of music was real. The piano wasn't a lie. What was a lie was the deal he made with it. The one where music owed him a feeling. The one where everything, his mom's worry, his barber's life, his students, the full-time job, all of it was manageable collateral until the gig came through and the real version of his life could finally begin. He'd been waiting for an arrival that kept moving. But the movie gives him one more scene. Not the gig, the other one. After the gig, Dorothea tells him a story before she gets in her cab. A fish swims up to an older fish and says he's looking for the ocean. The older fish says, "That's what you're in right now." The young fish looks around and says, This is water. What I want is the ocean." Joe goes home and sits at the piano. Nobody's there. No audience, no credential waiting on the other side of this. He just plays. And something happens in this scene that the
Subscribe now. Subscribe now. Subscribe now.
film barely announces. Joe enters the zone, the same zone he's been chasing his whole life, the same state Moonwind described. But this time there's no gig on the other side of it, no Dorothea watching, no proof being manufactured. He's just playing because the piano is there, and his hands know what to do. And for the first time in maybe his entire adult life, the music isn't in service of anything. It's just sound, moving through a quiet apartment, going nowhere. That's new. For Joe Gardner, that is genuinely new. And the film shows us what 22 collected while she was inside his life. A helicopter seed she caught from a tree, a lollipop from Des, a spool of thread from his mom's seamstress work, small objects, things from a Tuesday, things from the day she was living in his life more fully than he had been. He goes back, finds 22 in the lost soul spiral he put her in, uses the seed to break through, holds it out so she can see it, so she can remember what it felt like to catch it from a tree and just be amazed that something like that exists. And when she comes back, he gives her the Earth Pass, hers, the one he took. He puts it in her hand and walks her to the portal.
Live life never bugged with stems flying insect-like trap, made without chemical.
Holds on for as long as he can, then turns toward the great beyond. He's made his peace. He doesn't have a plan for what comes after because there isn't an after. He chose her life over his. A Jerry stops him. They tell him he inspired them, that what he did for 22 for the whole U seminar earned him another chance. Joe takes it. He doesn't have a speech. He doesn't have a plan. He just says yes. And when Jerry asks what he's going to do with it, he says he doesn't know, but he's going to live every minute of it.
I'm gonna live every minute of it.
I think about
Like the video. Like the video. Like the video.
Alright, that's it for One International Love Reaction. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more information like these and more videos like these. Hit the post notification bell so you can be notified for necessary videos like these. You know what I mean? I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for